Hello and welcome to Book Gurus, Book Buddies. My name is Sangeeta Goyal and I've been here telling you stories on some days of the week. So today is another day of the week when I'm here to tell you one more story. And this is a story that I read, I loved, and I thought I will share it with you. The name of the story is Saru and Her Little Secret. It's written by Sunita Lad Bhamre and it is illustrated by Divya George. Here we go. Saru and Her Little Secret. At the far edge of the forest, near a muddy pool, there was a wooden fence, and inside the fence there was a huge brick building. The brick building was surrounded by small cottages and sheds. A large number of people, they live here and they do a lot of good work. The big building had a student hostel, it had a school and a hospital. And in the hostel lived a little girl named Saru. Saru was very playful. She loved to run, hop, jump, skip all the time. And Saru had many friends. Her best friend was a boy called Mangu who also lived at the hostel, but he was very much not like Saru. He didn't like to run as much as Saru did. And then Saru had three more friends who lived in cottages nearby. One was Manik, another Hari, and one more Ketki. Hari's father works as a driver, Manik's parents work in the hospital, and Ketki's mother is a teacher. Apart from all these people, there was another person that you need to know about in this story, and that person is called Mai. Mai is the caretaker of the children in the hostel. Mai, like all of us, has eyebrows, but her eyebrows are always crossed over each other. And Mai, every time she wanted to call out to Saru, she had a booming voice. Any time of the day you passed by the hostel, you could hear Mai shout Saru's name. But why did she do that? Because Saru, she was never to be found where she was meant to be. She was either at the forest or at the muddy pond or somewhere else. Now that all of us know about all the people in this story, let us begin. In the month of May, on a bright sunny morning, Saru pulled down the yellow sheet from her eyes as she heard the sounds of the pots and pans in the kitchen. She jumped out from her bed, she ate her rice gruel, she quickly got ready because it was a holiday, and who doesn't like holidays? That day was definitely going to be a very good one, Saru knew, because whenever there was no school, Saru was sure to have a plenty of fun. Saru, she called out to Mangu, but Mangu was not in the mood to go to the pond with her. Mangu liked school and would have liked to be there instead of running off with Saru. She then decided to ask her other friends, but all of them had something or the other to do that morning. So Saru was left alone. But she wasn't too upset about it. She just ran towards the fence of the building. She found one opening in the wooden fence and slipped out of it. She knew she shouldn't be doing that, but she was too excited. She couldn't stop to think what was right and what was wrong. Off she went down the hill. She tippity-toed over the pebbles, then on the slush and in the puddles. And then she ran further downhill to the pond by the large peepal tree. There were times when passerbys would sit under the shade of the tree to take a nap. But that morning, there was nobody there, and Saru was delighted because, in case if anyone from the hostel saw Saru over there, she would have had to answer a dozen questions. And she would get some scoldings also. She went off to the pond where she started doing things that she enjoyed doing as her favorite pastime. Do you know what that was? Her favorite pastime was to catch dragonflies. Dragonflies are these insects which are long and they had really long wings. And when they fly, they look like a helicopter. So Saru, she saw those dragonflies near the pond and she would catch them by the delicate wings. One down, two down, many more down. Saru would carefully hold her fingers towards the dragonfly as it hovered over the reeds and snap her fingers at great speed to catch the buzzing insect. Then she would take the insect and put it down on the sticky leaves. The dragonfly would be stuck to the leaf for some time and then fly away. While Saru was busy snapping and catching the dragonflies, she heard a scratching sound in the bushes nearby. In a moment, the sound grew louder, and Saru could see the bushes moving. A curious girl by nature, Saru peered through the bushes to see what the sound was about. As she moved the branches out of her way, Saru came face to face with a tiny creature with the biggest eyes and the funniest shape ever. The creature looked like a baby deer but had the body of a huge mouse. The little animal was startled to see Saru and tried to run away from there, but it couldn't. Its legs were stuck in between something. Saru also stared in amazement at this creature, and she could see that this little animal was scared, was frightened, was trying so hard to get free and run away from there. But the more it tried to run away, the more it got caught. It got pulled and pulled and pulled, and then it just sank over there in the bushes. Saru pushed some bushes away, some more, and looked at the tired animal that was just lying there. It was strange. Some of the legs, the hind legs of this animal, had got trapped in a long vine that came from the tall tree. Saru carefully unwound the vine from its legs and freed it. But the animal couldn't move. The animal was wounded. So she decided to take it home with her and take care of the animal, nurse the animal back to its health. Now Saru started walking back to her building with this animal on her lap. But as she reached closer to her building, she saw someone. She spotted Mai. Mai was waiting there with her eyebrows crossed over each other, looking out for Saru. Saru knew she was in danger, so she ran quickly to the nearest tractor shed. She knew that one look at the animal in her hands and Mai would tell her, "Go leave it back in the forest." Mai didn't like anything little, people or animals. After Mai had grown tired of calling to Saru and had returned inside, Saru gingerly stepped around the building and carried the scared and frightened little creature inside the shed adjoining it. This shed housed the large pots, pans, ladles, and vessels that were used to cook special food on special festival days. Saru looked around in the dark room and decided that she will keep the little creature in this room. Then Saru knew that she herself was very small. She herself was only a few years old. But she knew that this animal will not survive outside. Maybe the animal's leg was broken. After she looked around at the room, she made up her mind and placed the animal in a large pot, which was the largest vessel in that room. She spread a jute bag inside the pot and then she slowly put the animal inside the pot. First, Saru ran to her friends and told them all about this creature and what she had found and where she had kept. And then she ran to the kitchen and got some milk. Within minutes, Saru and all her friends, they were peering at this little creature. Hari was the oldest of them all, so he proclaimed after looking at the animal that it was a baby deer. Ketki, who loved to read and was the most poetic, decided that they should call this animal Pillu. Pillu. And Mangu was the gentlest in the group. So they decided that Mangu should feed Pillu. Pillu was a little hesitant at first, but he was hungry. So he soon drank all the milk that Mangu gave him using a spoon. They decided that Pillu should be kept in the shed. No one should go there too much. Mangu agreed to feed it and the others promised to keep bringing food for Pillu whenever they could. In the evening, Pillu looked much more sturdier. He had been fed one round of milk and now they were giving him another round of milk and they had also given him some bhakri. Manik had sneaked in some of them. As night fell, all the friends, they tucked in Pillu in the folds of the jute bag in the pot and they themselves headed back to their beds. Oof, the children spent a restless night, but Pillu slept peacefully in his new home. Before long, it was morning and the excited children, they went straight to the shed. Pillu was sitting up with his head bobbing over the rim of the large pot. The children sat down for an important discussion. They whispered to each other. They argued. Mai had glared at them when she had passed by and wondered what they were up to. But seeing nothing, she just continued on her way. As the children stroked the soft fur on Pillu's tiny body and cuddled him, he seemed warm and calm. They wanted to keep him forever, but they knew that once he grew up, he will be a big deer, and how to hide such a big deer in such a small room? Every time they heard footsteps close by, they would quickly hide Pillu in the pot. None of them wanted to leave Pillu's side. Pillu was their little secret. The next day was the same. In the morning before school, all of them rushed to the shed. All of them had got something for Pillu to eat. So they fed him with care and headed for school. And as soon as school was over, they hurried back into the shed to be with Pillu. Pillu had been good. Pillu had managed to stay in his spot and stay out of trouble. They spent the evening playing with Pillu, who was strong enough to stand up now. His legs seemed to be healing well. Many, many days passed by, one after the other, and each day Pillu grew fatter and healthier. Soon Pillu grew friskier too. He seemed to want to be out of his spot more, and the children began to panic. They were certain that if someone spotted Pillu, that's it. That would be the end of their secret. They were also worried about Pillu's strange growth. What was happening? Why did Pillu continue to look like a large mouse and hadn't grown into a deer yet? Maybe it was their fault. Maybe because they kept Pillu in the pot, Pillu didn't grow into a deer. A few days later, there was chaos. It was late in the night and everybody was asleep when suddenly there was a loud clanking sound. The sound rang out from Pillu's shed and it woke up all the people. Everyone ran towards the shed. And there he was, little Pillu, who stood in the center of the shed, looking around with his large, loopy eyes. He had probably tried to get out of the pot and had overturned a lot of other pots and pans. The room looked a mess. They were shocked to see Pillu. Everyone seemed to be talking at once. All through the commotion, little Pillu stood looking as sweet as ever. Soon a gentleman with a kind voice came forward. He calmed the people down by asking them not to be afraid, as the animal was harmless and had probably strayed in from the wild. Still, it was Mai who seemed to have all the answers. She raved and ranted. She said she knew the mess had been caused by Saru and her friends who were up to some mischief all the time. The person with the gentle voice picked up little Pillu and beckoned to Saru and her friends. He was smiling and asked the children if they had taken care of Pillu. Comforted by his gentleness, the children told him how they had found Pillu and how they had taken care of him. They had also said that they were worried about how tiny their little deer was. Could it be because they had kept him in the pot, they asked? He laughed gently when he heard this. The kind man told the children that the little animal that they had looked after so well was actually a mouse deer and not a deer. The children were most surprised to learn that their Pillu was in fact not a baby deer and was always going to look as he did. A bit like mouse, a bit like pig, a bit like a deer. The elders decided to let the children keep Pillu at the hostel. The kind man announced that an animal shelter would be built there. There were squeals of delight from the happy children. Yay! A month later, An animal shelter was built for sick and needy animals from the forest. And little Pillu began to live there forever. If you go up to the hostel one day, you just may see Pillu playing with Saru and her friends, and I'm sure that you will be able to join them too. Now, this story, I wanted to tell you about it at the end of it. This story is inspired by the work of this person called Dr. Prakash Amte, who is the son of one of the social workers of India, whose name is Baba Amte. Baba Amte started the Lok Biradri Prakalp work for the welfare and development of the Madia Gond tribals in the remote regions of central India. The organization runs a few things like schools and hospitals and animal shelter. And visitors are welcome at the shelter. You can check the website and you can check the work. You can probably go there to spend a holiday and see more such stories happening right there at the animal shelter. Well, I hope you enjoyed this story. I really like the story because it's an inspiration of somebody's work, and it is also about an animal. It is also about how children love animals, and I'm sure that a lot of you listening to the story, I think almost all of you love animals. So thank you so much for listening to me, and keep listening to stories, keep reading stories, keep telling stories. You will find an activity in the description. Please do it and remember to send it to us. We will wait for it, and I will come back with one more story to you again. Until then, bye. Take care. Ta-da.